The gaming industry in this day and age is a big fat wet fart, mixed with fantastic graphics, hype train, and paid off advertisers. I'm jealous because they haven't decided to pay me off yet. I'm open to offers now, by the way. Feel free to send great wads of cash my way, and I will play your game. I'm done being YouTube's punching bag. It's time to sell out. Put that money in my hand. $15, little man. Nong, nong, naga, naga, ding, nong. From what I recall, Borderlands 3 is out now. Not 100% sure, as I'm sort of boycotting the game by not buying it or paying attention to any major media on it. I figure in order for them to understand that we as the gaming mass aren't exactly sheeple, it was to hit them in the one place that all of these corporations really care about, their wallet. Much like the new Men in Black, which featured a black female agent simply because wokeness with the generic white guy, whatever. Everybody saw it for what it was. It's bombing. 2K Games is nothing short of a blight in gaming. But then again, it's major corporations all jostling with each other. There is no good guy here, really. Maybe CD Projekt Red, but they're too busy bending over backwards to not offend people. It's hard to respect them at times. You can do all the Keanu Reeves, you're breathtaking memes you want.
You're breathtaking.
Don't change a damn thing to me. 2K Games, back in August, had a YouTube channel deleted because the guy kept leaking Borderlands 3 news.
A little weird.
Also, they did have a big problem with someone leaking a bunch of stuff, and they took action against a YouTube creator.
Somebody who had access to pre-release stuff.
That found a bunch of shit that they shouldn't have or hacked. I don't know what the situation is
They were just releasing info about the game that was under embargo.
Yeah. So there was that happened.
And if I recall correctly, they even sent private investigators, aka goons, to the dude's house to try and find out where he's getting the leaks from. Which does seem a little bit like mafia tactics. Back in the old days, you send some guys over to ask some questions. Make sure there's no more leaks, Tony. If you know what I'm saying. Mickey, we made sure he didn't make any more mistakes. And after the dude's channel was deleted and all the backlash, that pretty much doesn't matter now. When you think about it, Borderlands 2 is out. People are buying it. People are stoked about it. It kind of didn't matter that a dude lost his YouTube channel, and before he lost it, he was, they sent people over there to mess with him. Is that where we're going in gaming? Take-Two even sat there and defended themselves. It took necessary action against the YouTuber who shared Borderlands 3 leaks, which would make you think that Borderlands 3 probably isn't as hot as they want it to be. But then again, with today's gaming culture, people really don't care.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
Confidentiality of trade secrets very seriously. A 2K representative told The Verge, of all places,
special about this screwing in process, they're just really long screws because they go through the entire frame of the cooler, and they take forever. It's already neatly applied in a circle around it, but it's usually not enough. It's good, essentially PC building practice to have a little bit extra and layer it on top of the CPU. The final portion is to add the CPU.
The action we've taken is the result of a 10-month investigation and a history of this creator profiting from breaking our policies, leaking confidential information about our products, and infringing our company's copyrights or whatever. I don't think the guy worked for Take-Two, so does that apply to him? Does it? If I had the secret ingredients for how to make your own Coca-Cola soda, does that mean I'm infringing upon Coke because I told people how to make it? I don't work there. I didn't sign a contract. 3 drops of syrup, a little bit of rat, and a side of pelican piss. This makes Coca-Cola, But let's move on to more up-to-date things. 2K attempts to manipulate Borderlands 3 reviews by basically only sending copies of the games to reviewers they approve of.
What? Oh no!
This isn't really anything new. And if I recall correctly, this stems from the fact that Giant Bomb did some negative coverage of the E3 build of Borderlands 3. Basically, Borderlands 3 is definitely on damage control of the highest priority. And Take-Two Interactive, want Borderlands 3 to make as much money as humanly possible. You know, I mean, this is the same company that has GTA Online. They're hungry for that money, baby. One poster on Reddit said, 2K has some really weird review policies. Remember when BioShock Infinite released? They gave IGN an exclusive 3-day early review embargo. Kotaku, ironically, then did a review of IGN's review since they weren't allowed to review the game yet. That's kind of funny. Kotaku, among many large sites, weren't among the 10 to 15 outlets to get early review account codes for Borderlands 3. They are getting their codes one day before launch. Ironically, here's some interesting clips of Giant Bomb talking about the fact that they weren't allowed to have a review copy of Borderlands. And even the guys there state that it seems like all parties invested in this game aren't exactly confident that this Borderlands is going to live up to the rest.
Borderlands, I wasn't expecting this to come up in news because we had been talking about this here internally a little bit, but then Kotaku ran a story about it yesterday, so it kind of became news. We didn't get Borderlands 3 early. Apparently, they didn't either.
Yeah.
That prompted Patrick Klepek from Vice to come out and say they also haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
A number of outlets. So
VG 24/7.
Our story is slightly different than the rest of them.
Yeah, I think we got different messaging.
Yeah.
Than some, but Jason
Schreier
ran a story saying that first of all, the outlets that did get it for review did not receive like retail copies or codes for the game as per usual.
Mm-hmm.
They were apparently given logins to pre-made Epic Store accounts.
Yeah,
that had the game
in itself. That's fine. But apparently they were...
That's hard to review.
It's a little strange.
Yeah, it's strange.
It means your progress doesn't carry over into a full version of the game because it's not your account or whatever.
Again, you don't have a real world friends list to work with. It's a little out of the ordinary.
Friends list on Epic?
But that has happened before.
Yeah.
That alone is not entirely out of the ordinary.
It's not unheard of, but it is pretty uncommon.
And yes, and if I had to guess, I would say some of that is a result of the Epic Store is bad, or like is not developed well on the feature side.
Also, this is only Epic. No console versions of the game have gone out.
Right. No console versions have gone out.
Which is scary.
So only PC reviews have hit.
Yeah. And not all the reviews have been like overwhelmingly positive. I think Polygon had one that was not super.
Polygon's is unscored. PC Gamer gave it a 63. That's the lowest one. Everyone else is generally 80s-ish.
Yeah.
And the sentiment seems to be that it's more Borderlands.
Yeah.
They made another one of those, which is what we've heard all along of what that game was likely to be. So we didn't get when we inquired about it, we were not told, hey, there are security concerns. We were told, and I'm paraphrasing here, but we were told by a 2K PR representative that based on the sentiment of our E3 coverage, that they were going to send it to us a little closer to launch.
We've heard that before too.
Which, if you, so if you want to take that, I feel like that just like empties a full magazine into the security concern shit and makes it sound a whole lot that they wanted to micromanage reviews for a good day one Metacritic.
Whether that's true, it remains to be seen, as I personally believe most gamers today have a real low bar when it comes to entertainment. Let's face it, look at what Call of Duty has become. But honestly, it's about just pumping this stuff out, reoccurring intellectual properties where they can constantly just milk off of nostalgia and name alone. A big name will still move copies of the game regardless of whether it lives up to the hype or not. It's just the belly of the beast. And the beauty of everything being really digital now, most people on most platforms can buy a game and then they're locked in. There's no way out. Except for Steam. That's probably why Borderlands is a Epic exclusive. Do they even have a return policy in Epic? Speaking of Epic exclusives with Borderlands 3, this is quite interesting. Now, I'm not one for pirating games. That's just me. You want to pirate a game, I don't care. You want to smoke crack, I really don't care. Long as it doesn't bother me. As long as you're not smoking crack and then you crash into my car, and then I get out like, what the hell happened? Oh, this pet been fooling me all day, baby. I thought I had my blinkers on, homie. So this came from, I believe, a crack team on their Discord. Don't get Borderlands 3 on Epic if you were thinking about it. The current Denuvo has been recoded from the ground up, and our leaked source code that was used to circumvent Denuvo no longer works. This is actually making this quite difficult. Let me explain. The latest version of Denuvo with Borderlands 3 is basically a VM in the sense of the JVM, but each time you compile the game, it creates a new assembly language for the game and a new JIT for it too. Makes it harder, if not very difficult to crack. People have spent a bunch of time trying to map out what Denuvo's instruction is, which x86 instruction. Couple that with the fact that the Borderlands 3 game binaries are usually encrypted and Denuvo itself encrypts them on the fly and now forces a 10-second 2 megabit limit where any variation in this shuts off your game as tampering. And I quote, "It's hard. It's MVP protection. It's MV protection, but good. This shit is so intrusive, it would lock the mouse up at random intervals outside of the game due to checking for unauthorized inputs when I tried injecting. It has to be some kind of key logging spyware in order to do this. That will be super juicy if we can prove that kind of illegal content on keeping pirates out at the expense of possible user data being mined. That won't help Epic's image at all. Our current study of Borderlands 3 shows the only binary that is encrypted is the main executable. None of the other files are encrypted via Denuvo. This new version is indeed a stupidly bloated VM. The main executable is estimated to be 10 times larger than the DM-free version. Don't expect it anytime soon. The new challenge is how it phones home and gets its encryption keys. It purely depends on your CPU, some sort of hash base off of it. That's why earlier cracks had Intel and AMD specific versions. This seems to sign a unique key based off of your hardware, possibly requiring a different crack for each PC. Just about. Shit's fucked until we bypass this and somehow make it universal. Unlikely. Too long didn't read. Epic Games / Gearbox using keylogger spyware to prevent pirating and making Borderlands 3 always online with consistent 2 megabyte upload in the background. Sometimes pirating does do good things, like let you know exactly what a company is doing. It comes as no surprise because 2K Games has always been very pro Denuvo, and as we all know, Denuvo sucks. Epic blows. It's a double whammy, honest to God, right there if you actually buy it on PC, which people will. Yeah, what are you gonna say, you know? I've always hated Denuvo for the simple fact that if I pay for a game, why should I have to deal with all this BS? It's really not cool. Like back when I had my 4-core Intel CPU, games that had that sort of crazy bloatware were just atrocious to play. Ubisoft being among them. Whatever. So basically that's it. I came across this on Twitter while I was fucking around. It's Randy Pitchford pretty much selling everybody on the Epic Store about how amazing the Epic Store was. You all know how it was. Anyone who's paying attention to gaming during the whole Epic Store exclusivity remembers how much of a douchebag Randy Pitchford was. But here's the great part. Somebody cut this up on Twitter. Dude, it shows how Borderlands 3 is having an innumerable amount of issues. Deleting people's save games. Players on the PC version are turning to Steam's Borderlands 2 page for help because the Epic Store doesn't have this feature. I'm done for the day. It's time for a cookie. Now that's comedy.